So because Beast is such an oppressive laner that even if the Rubik doesn't offer a lot on his own, he's very good at just standing behind a strong hero and helping him whenever, you know, the help is necessary. And he can also do things like block pulls very, very easily with Fade Bolts. So I think 4 is fine. This will most likely be our 5 here from Khan and the Venge. This is a pretty gnarly Rubik, Void game, if I'm being honest. Okay, they do go Witch Doctor. I kind of thought they might. Mainly because you have to worry about your chrono getting stolen. You have to be very good about hitting time dilation as soon as you chrono, like every time. If you don't, it can be very dangerous. For your team, there's already a defensive swap. There's BKB Piercing Stun. I think it's going to be a rough Void game. So I'm kind of curious as to how Cyber Legacy are going to... First off, they need chrono synergy. Like, they have none right now. It's basically, like, I don't know if this is a core Tiny or a support Tiny or what their game plan is with it with just these 3 heroes, but they need something to put into the bubble that's going to feel strong.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be Invoker game, actually. Could look out for that for Cyber Legacy. There's no backline catch right now for Khan. So they could, like, aggro swap, but that's about it. And then you want, like, a blink on your Beast if you want any backline kind of catch, and he might just go for, like, the book build and just go for, you know, big damage, big push. A lot of Beastmasters are skipping blink nowadays unless they really, really need it. So
I've noticed that. It's kind of strange. We've seen a lot of heroes that used to go just straight for blink dagger, now looking at alternatives. Like Slardars, a lot of games, they don't rush the blink. Bat Rider, the other big example. VOTs now taking that slot.
Yeah, I think it's primarily because you just pick a hero to solve the catch problem, right? Like if you have to itemize in a way that detracts from the strength of your hero, which I feel like buying Blink on Beastmaster does that, because you want to be a frontliner and you also want to deal a huge amount of damage, and you lose a lot of that potential when you're investing, you know, 2,200 gold on an item that really only gives you mobility. Now you give vision to your team, you push really hard, you're beefy, you have BKB Piercing Stun, and back in the day, Blink was great because you could just solo kill heroes, but most of the time that's not going to happen anymore. Oh, they ban Invoker themselves. Huh, okay. So they very clearly don't want it. I thought it would be a great pickup for them. But okay, so Darkseer and TB. The DS is good synergy with the Void. It does offer damage inside of the Chrono. The Witch Doctor does as well with the Maledict and the Death Ward as well. So they do have some damage to throw inside of it. I do like Darkseer a lot against TB because you basically cannot die to this hero unless you make a mistake, right? Like you surge away from him. He is fast, but he's not faster than Surge. You can push the lane. They have no way of really killing the Ion Shell creep quickly unless meta is up, and you're not really going to want to meta for, like, you know, one or two waves. So I don't know. I like this pick here from Cyber Legacy. I'm still waiting for that hero that really makes me believe in this lineup, because right now, I think what Khan are bringing, like, they don't have a lot of D push, which could be a problem because they are playing against a Darkseer. Wave clear is definitely going to be a concern for them, but I think that their lineup doesn't really run into the same problem of, if we don't have Chrono, it's very hard for us to play. So I'm hoping the last hero kind of solves that issue a bit for them.
Well, they've got plenty of time to think about it. 100.
It could be Tiny Mid. If it's Tiny Mid, then they have tempo, and that's fine.
Huh. I have not seen the Tiny Mid much.
Yeah, we saw it actually last series. Yeah, the one that Sinner and Sunsfan casted, there was a mid Tiny.
Well,
and Sumail has been spamming it. Okay,
Pugna, gonna be a mid. That's
good.
I like this.
That's a super good pick, actually.
Very
good. Yeah, big counter against Roar. There's a lot of physical damage dealers on Khan. Not really any magical burst. So Decrep is going to be a very potent save ability in this game. And obviously you can, like, life drain and stuff. I think it's mostly just for the fact that it does give them some semblance of siege. Up until this point, they had no hero that really threatens buildings whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the Beastmaster, they do have Witch Doctor, which is nice. It's good at stunning the boars, the creeps, or whatever, the necro minions. But they didn't have anything to really deal with the Roar itself. And now they do, as long as he's not the one getting roared, obviously.
Yeah, that Pugna, like, weirdly dynamic in that way. He does so much damage. He's so good at taking objectives, but he also has that nice little save for you. So support Tiny. All right. What do Khan want? They've decided it's the Queen of Pain. So they're going to go pretty classic here.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, it's not...
I actually like both drafts here. They're very different. They have different merits.
Yeah, I do too.
But they both have strengths. You know, like I don't think this is an outdraft at all. This is going to be all down to the execution, which makes me really excited.
If I had to favor one side, I would favor Khan, just because I think if the game goes too late, they will simply not have damage to kill Terrorblade. Like once Terrorblade gets BKB, if the Void can't kill him in a chrono, there's going to be a huge issue, and there's also a save. So when I look at lineups like this, and like you're saying, it is pretty even. I'm just saying that if you think the draft is even, try to think about how the cores play the game. And whoever has the more difficult game is usually the one at a disadvantage in terms of like hero matchups. So if the Void chronos, swap is going to be annoying. You can still get roared. You know, if it's TB and he has BKB, you are basically all of the damage in that sphere minus like Death Ward, which doesn't sound that great considering TB has like 40 armor.
Yeah.
So that's the point where I'm looking at it and I'm going, if I had to pick, I would say Khan, because I think the TB will have an easier time playing the mid late game.
Okay.
But obviously anything can happen. So we'll see what happens. If the lanes are good for Cyber Legacy, I can definitely see them kind of, you know, rolling it a bit. They're going to have an Ion Shell, Surge, Tiny,
exactly.
a good tower.
It's a lot of little
killer.
things. Like I love how the Darkseer enables Tiny for that extra push, so Big Num can actually find solo kills. Same with the Void, as you mentioned. It actually gives Void like the ability to threaten kills with Chrono early on while he's still in farming mode because he's got that extra damage. And I just like Pugna a lot. I might be a little biased because I think Pugna is a bit underloved right now, and I think he can be so annoying against these heroes like Terrorblade. Like, yeah, when he gets BKB, Decrep won't be a factor anymore, but it's still, like, it's a tool that really screws up the cadence of what Terrorblade wants to do in fights.
Yeah, he will have the issue not even of just being self-decrept, but defensive decrep is going to be super annoying because the only dispel they're going to get is Necro 3 on Cheshire Cat. So if he doesn't have a Necro and that guy gets decrept, he's just gone unless there's a stun nearby. Or like there's not going to be any damage in follow-up if the hero is stunned, which is a huge problem. And I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to pick a hero like Queen to have some big magical burst to throw in case that hero does get decrept. So should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, game number 1. The tail end of our group stage here at Draskell. The main event starts tomorrow. The studio's back. No more remote production. And then I think we have like 5 or 6 days of that. And then I think we come back to Divine. The schedule's pretty interesting. It sort of weaves back and forth. So
it's almost like a full league, right? Like
yeah.
It's just... I like that though, because having a set schedule, I feel, is easier for teams over the course of a longer period of time than it is to just say, okay, we're going to play like 8 trillion games in 3 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, totally.
I think that works better for everyone, to be honest.
Better for the audience too, no doubt. But the one thing that made me sad is that the prize pool for the European Divine division is more than the entire NA division, which only has 1 tier because there's not enough teams for 2 tiers. I think theirs is 40K and the Divine here is 50K. And then the Immortal for EU is like 500,000 or some like serious ass money for the real main event. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Hype as this event is, the reality of North American Dota really set in when I looked at that prize pool distribution, man. I had a moment of, damn.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to see that people are putting money into like the tier 2, tier 3 scene. It's necessary for the longevity of the game. If you want people to have... Like, obviously, there will always be people who want to play Dota because they love the game. But if you want to give people a real incentive to be amazing players and like stay together as teams, there has to be something you can get out of it, right? Yeah. It can't just be something that you spend 12 hours a day playing and do nothing else and not make any money. It just doesn't work that way.
You know, with the 16-team division thing that Valve had announced pre-lockdown, would you have played at all, dude? Like 8 to 16, the tier 2 division in North America? I feel like you might be a contender for a team in that bracket.
If I played the game more seriously. Right now, I'm kind of just a feeder. I don't really like...
All right.
You know how it is when you're playing to improve versus playing to just play?
Yes, it is a very different mindset. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, give me time, you know? I need a lot of time.
I don't know, dude. I heard Veggies Esports might be recruiting. Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
All right, so we got TB Venge down in the safe lane. Going to have a 2-1-2 for both teams. No surprise, it'll be Pugna versus Quap mid. How does this matchup go?
So I feel like it should be pretty good for Pugna, mainly because his attack range is significantly longer. He's going to have a damage advantage too, especially as levels start get going. But, you know, both heroes are going to get something. It's not like Pikachu is going to get owned here. Might be a slightly advantage for the Pugna.
All right. And, of course, up top, we do have this position for Rubik, paired with the Cheshire Cat Beastmaster here in the off lane against the Witch Doctor Void. Void taunting his way in between last hits. Very nice. Dream, a man with style, elegance, and grace.
Yeah, this guy is no joke. I've watched a lot of this guy's pubs. He is extraordinarily good at the game.
Yeah.
But I think the matchup should be fine still for Cyber Legacy, just because the Witch Doctor is the anti-boar hero. That's why I was talking about during the draft. It's important to have someone who can sit in the lane and like prevent the Beastmaster from just being super annoying. Witch Doctor can do that early. Then later on, they can just move the Darkseer if they want to have someone.
Stun. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Although Slayer's getting whomped by Gilger right now. Oh, he knocks the Sow. Slayer, he gets a little greedy with it, and my gosh, he gets punished.
Yeah, that's an oof. You really don't ever want that to happen. This is not the point as a support where you're just going, do I just die? He's actually going to skill Voodoo Restoration level 2 instead of Maledict.
I was just thinking, this is an option. I don't know if it's the play, but it's one that you've got.
If you really don't think you're ever going to get a kill, it's fine.
This is kind of a weird lane. Void's not really that good at killing in the early levels. Maybe if you get lucky with bashes, but...
Don't underestimate how good Maledict is if you have 2 points into it at level 3.
Oh, trust me, buddy. I know.
If you catch someone and you get a lucky cask and it hits them like twice, and you have a time lock or two, that can definitely just be a kill.
Yes, but I think this build is also like extra anti-boar because you got the cast to kill him, and now the Voodoo Restoration. I've definitely turned lanes by going level 1 or 2 Voodoo Restoration, and it's just too much sustain, especially with the Void's time walk healing.
Yeah, I think they're both very valid ways of playing. It's just in the moment decision making. If he didn't just get his salve knocked off, maybe he would have skilled Maledict. You know,
that's fair.
It's kind of hard to say. The bottom lane.
Oh, Darkseer in some trouble. Looks like they just popped a fresh meta, and now TB is going to get to dominate the lane for a minute. How fun. Okay, 44 seconds.
Pikachu's actually pulling ahead in this mid lane. Oh, I see why. Okay. So you can see itemization difference here between the mids. Double Null versus Bottle Rush. It's probably why he has a slight CS advantage on Magical here.
So what's the general like advantage disadvantage? Because we'll hold that thought. Is Gilger chased down? Looks like he'll be okay. Like, is Pikachu just going for more damage and sustain in the lane in terms of last hit, and Magical's looking for like more sustainability from a regen perspective?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the decision. The thing about Pugna is that his damage will be good either way.
Oh.
Nice little rune grab.
Oh.
He can combo, but there's no way it's killing him, right? He's going to go for the courier.
All right, that's something.
Yeah, but the mid matchups...
Big Num might not have had to pick up that rune, but...
Yeah, the mid matchups are always interesting because... Oh, Magical? Are you just dead here, bud?
No, I think so. One more.
Yeah,
Pikachu's got it. Didn't even need the last
Man, that's a really silly mistake to make, honestly, in this level of play. You always have to check your opponent's mana when you're playing against Queen, especially because she has the ability to cover the entire lane immediately, especially when you're mid. And if she has mana for that, plus dagger, then you are just dead, right? Like, he has no fairy fires. He had nothing in his inventory. If it's... Any solo kill in the mid lane is a bad thing, right? Because now he just gets bottle. That was also first blood, so it's a huge influx of gold as well. That's a really, really big death.
Wow. Yeah, look at that net worth difference now. 2,200 on Quap, 1,500 on Pugna. It's a crazy margin for a lane that was like relatively even, not that long.
He's dead again.
And there it is.
He just died twice.
Pikachu just jumps up. I mean, that's part of the snowball, right? She hits level 6. Pugna's still level 4.
That's why you can't die to her like that. It's actually just dead lane now for him. That's going to hurt Cyber Legacy a ton in this game for the mid to be going this poorly. Like, that one death just sets the tone for the entire game now. He's going to be playing really far behind. He's super susceptible to being bursted, and it can just get really, really out of control very quickly. Bottom lane, too, is being heavy pressure here. Got the cart wave, trying to get some value damage on a tower. So they do have something nice going for them.
Yep. Let's see here. Combo in. They get Excel. Okay. Naive is still farming very well, though, on the Terrorblade. He's about even with the Void. CS very comparable. That is one thing about the Darkseer. It's this constant pressure into the tower, but there are some heroes, kind of like Terrorblade, that don't really care that much. They very easily can last hit under tower. They can buy enough regen to handle the Ion Shell pressure. I feel like
it depends
pretty
on
well suited for this.
Yeah, this kind of stuff, though, is hard for him because it's double shell.
Did I just caster curse him? Oh.
I think the interpretation that you have of the lane is not really 100% accurate because in normal cases, Excel's just going to die here, by the way.
Yeah. The Avenge is obviously pretty useless in this
The
scenario.
problem is that TB is very good at laning against Fizz damage, but this is all magic, right? And it shoves the lane so fast. And as I talked about during the draft, there's no D-push, really. Like, Khan doesn't have a way to clear the creeps out quickly, so if you're under tower with a full creep wave and a cart, you are just food, right?
The cart definitely, but for like just your regular creep wave, it's still too much. I guess it ramps up too, right? They're just
because if you watch how Bignum is playing this, he'll be shelled, and then the wave will also be shelled, and he'll just run under tower. He doesn't need to draw creep aggro onto himself to deal damage. Normally, when you go under tower and you dive, a lot of people will click on a hero, draw tower aggro, which it can be very dangerous, obviously, because you don't want to get hit by the tower. But you can just walk next to the hero and harass.
I see. Oh, up top, that's a level 2 Maledict now. Gilger maybe in some trouble. Dream jumps forward. Come on, give me a bash, baby. There it is.
Oof. Got him.
Got him indeed.
1-1-2 Witch Doctor. I like this build, actually.
Yeah.
Some good stuff from Slayer.
Sometimes that level 4 rolls over, and I'm torn about whether or not to get Restoration. Like, the second point in cask, do I want the heal?
Sometimes, if there's not a lot of units in the lane, the second point into cask is super value, because you can chain stun for that much longer. But I think in this lane, he made the right call. Nice scan here.
Beautiful.
Gonna see Bignum.
Damn, they sensed that one coming all right. So, Excel is still going to try to hold the tower bottom, and kind of as you were talking about, Naive looks like he's just geared up for jungling. He's got 3 points in Conjure Image, holding his 6th right now in case he needs it, and he's off the map. He's just jungling.
Yeah, they're going to have to sack this tower. There's no one who can really be here. Excel's getting whatever experience he can before he dies, even autoing the creep a bit, try to get one extra. Little min-max stuff, but he knows that there's nowhere else for him to really be. He could try to stack or whatever, I suppose, for the TB if they want to stack Ancients and pop meta to kill them. Ooh, God, this is bad. He skills Sunder.
Oh, there's the Sunder. Maybe the turnaround. Still a long duration on life drain, though. Is anyone coming in? There they are. Pikachu's here. Magical's done. Boys and girls, that's why you hold the skill point. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm in the jungle. I'm not going to fight anybody. Sometimes the fight comes to you.
Man, that was super, risky for Magical to make that kind of play. If you look at the way that the map is worded, they see inside of the jungle of Khan, the Radiant jungle, and they see mid and they see top. And there was no one under any of those wards. So to make that kind of play, blind into high ground, to go for that, if he gets it, he looks like a god, right? But it's super high risk. I don't know. Those types of plays are really, really risky. Maybe that's how he feels he needs to play.
I was going to say, could you reason it that the mid has gone so bad that the Pugna feels like, listen, if I play safe and normal, we've lost anyway. So not all in, but that kind of Hail Mary-ish mentality.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you look at as an observer, we can see everything, so you have to be very, you have to pay a lot of attention to where the wards are for each team. And then I looked at the wards and I'm like, he didn't see anything. He literally saw nothing and he walked in there. That's crazy to me. He's way more brave than I would ever be.
I mean, I think another element maybe is that, I wouldn't use the word rare, but not every TB will grab Sunder at level 6.
Roar here. On Bignum.
Oh. Bignum in pretty deep. Now Gilger, he's going to make the rotation, and this should be an easy pickup. Though Slayer also dies elsewhere. Looks like up in the mid lane. He'll get finished off by Pikachu. Got off a curse, but not enough for a counter kill.
This is a lot of movement from a Beastmaster, by the way. There's not a lot of times where you see the Beast just give up his own lane. A lot of the time, they'll just sit where Naive is right now and just keep pressuring that lane and keep pressuring it, make people come up there and react. But I actually quite like the fact that Cheshire Cat didn't stay top because it opens up Naive's game a lot more. He doesn't have to be there because at the moment, the only way that Cyber Legacy can kill Naive is basically Chrono into additional spells. So even if they were to make some kind of move on him, it would require a lot of resources from Cyber Legacy to actually secure the kill in the first place. So I think that this type of movement, if they get the mid-tier 1, although this tower is going to be relatively difficult to push in if the Void is sitting on Chrono, because the TP reaction can kind of just thwart this immediately. It will let the TB farm, but I'm not sure if mid tower is really easily attainable right now for Khan. They might just be sitting him here because you know, they saw the Tiny behind the tier 1 tower or something like that, and it was just a TP reaction. Maybe I'm reading a bit too far into it.
Void wants Midas. Okay. Dream feeling like he needs a farming tool.
It is nice against Beast to get rid of one of the Necro units, but...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Midas may be too slow. We'll see.
I'm a little worried. Because we haven't really seen Khan push much at all, but they absolutely can once everything falls into line. Venge has not gone for the Aura build here. She's gone for the Max Magic Missile. This is like the classic Venge build. Mid lane now, Pikachu taking a lot of damage. Not enough for a kill. Void comes in.
Nice
Chrono
promo.
on 2. Very nice. Swap back.
Wait,
Still
what?
gonna, wait, what did he swap?
I was just about to say the same thing. What the hell did he swap?
Okay, so Pikachu and Excel are dead. I feel like I need to watch the replay when the delay catches up. That was so weird. Now Dream in pretty deep, but he's got a lot of reinforcements. Naive gets cursed. He needs to be a little careful here. He's falling quick and gets comboed down by Big Num. Disastrous fight for Khan.
Yeah, that was something. Not respecting the amount of burst damage that Cyber Legacy can put out at this stage. Like, if you get Decrep stun combo from Tiny, that's a lot of damage. Not even including, like, the Nether Blast and the Life Drain. If you don't have any way to mitigate magical damage, you can't show like that. That TP was super ambitious from Naive. They lose the tower anyway. They lose multiple heroes. I think what happened with the swap, by the way, I don't know who he swapped, but he might have been standing on like the southern side of the Chrono, and level 1 swap range is not that big, so there's a chance that he might not have been close enough to swap Pikachu. I think that might have been what happened.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, if that's the case, then he just swapped whoever else was in there, just to make sure that they didn't die, which is fine. But it just looked really weird at first, because you see the swap, and I didn't immediately know where Excel was in the fight, so I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, so
how he
depending
was standing in.
on your positioning, I think you're exactly right. The cast range on Nether Swap is 700, and for Void's Chrono, the radius is 450. So there absolutely can be spots if you're on the opposite side of the bubble.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
All right. Well, either way, Cyber Legacy, man, they find themselves the lead. It's 5-7. Their core is now moving towards the top. The recovery has been made. Pugna still trailing against the Queen of Pain, but Magical at least has his core item now. He's got the Aether Lens.
Oh, Gilgert. See you later, bud.
Find Rubik. Grand Magus will get 30 seconds to reflect in silence.
Yeah, that mid play just really crushed all the momentum that Khan had. Like, they lose their tower, one smoke play kills the support. They're going to counter smoke here. Excel and Pikachu are walking top. This kind of movement kind of gives away that there should be heroes here.
Oh, Cheshire Cat. Is he in trouble here?
I
think so. He's just done. He's cursed up. Slayer finds the kill. That was one of those moments where Cheshire Cat's still pushing forward. I'm like, I'm not seeing what you're seeing here, bud. I don't know.
His team was too far.
Yeah.
That's the big problem. Like, he sees them smoked behind.
And there was no Sonic Wave either.
Yeah, well, they would have gotten a kill with just the roar. I don't think they needed a wave to get any additional stuff. Stun coming out here. Pikachu's still going to get the rune.
Oh, no blink for 2. Swap from Excel. All right.
Yeah, this game is very strange. A lot of mistakes coming out here from Khan. Like that play from Cheshire Cat moving too far forward. Kind of dying before his team was close enough to help him. Losing the mid tower. Naive TPing into pretty much certain death when he could have just been pushing a tier 2 top with like a support behind them. I feel like these types of moves are hurting them a lot more than anything.
It's starting to seem like this Midas might have been a good choice on Dream. He now has a Maelstrom queued up, so still a pretty farm-heavy build.
Yeah, he realizes, well, it's a 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. When you're playing against TB, you know that the hero is going to have a tremendous amount of armor. There's no reason to scale physical damage against him because you're just never going to do enough. So having things like Mjolnir, MKB, these items are what help you kill TB. The alternative route is your team kills him and you just build items to stay alive and stay in the fight. So sometimes you'll see like 1 attack speed item and like Scotty or whatever just to stay on that one guy so you can get as many time locks as possible. So then your team can deal with everyone else and then come back to him. But it looks like the route that he's choosing to take is, I'm just going to kill you in the sphere.
Yeah. Void definitely loves attack speed. That's for sure. I like that Mjolnir buildup. Well, Khan posturing like they want to get a little aggressive here, invading the enemy jungle, moving up towards the top lane. The Pugna going to move into the tree line, and on the other side, Big Num, well, he secures the TP. Now, the Orchid comes out on Queen of Pain just as the Blink Dagger comes out on Tiny. So both teams now with a shiny new option in these team fights.
Both teams are very capable of just popping a hero. You know, Orchid into anything is just death, and then Tiny combo into anything is also just death. And Cheshire Cat behind enemy lines here.
Oh, Magical. They found him. Thought he was safe in those trees, but now CL come in, and maybe they'll try to set something up. Dream does have a chrono. Already used the time walk as Gilger, kind of deep behind the tower, will get finished off.
Oh.
Now the chrono on 2. This is beautiful. Death Ward from the Witch Doctor.
He put it in the chrono.
Yep, there it is. Not going to do much there as Sonic Wave comes out, and Excel, he should go down. A 2 for 2. Another very awkward fight. Yeah, just like how Rasta wards don't work in chrono, nor does the Death Ward.
God, it was like right on the edge. I can actually see that being a misclick because of the way that he was standing, like relative to where the chrono was placed. He was like above it, right? And sometimes it's hard to see like the exact edge because it is an actual sphere. You can't like tell exactly where the edge of the chrono is. I mean, you can just say, yeah, just drop it further, but
no, but there are moments where like Dota is not top down, right? We look at it from an angle. So when you're coming at things from that northern angle, it can be hard to tell the depth, I guess is the right word there. This is a really weird chase. I don't know why they're in so deep, but I think Magical's done for. And Big
What's going on here?
What was that?
They don't even have vision. Again.
Yeah,
okay, I guess that
they do.
They had the word there, yeah, but I didn't see it at first. They do have anobs.
Okay, and they're also going to get Darkseer out of the feed train. By the way, Dreskel, is this ward still totally broken? This dire one here, where the sentry up top doesn't get clear vision of this tier below it for whatever reason? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean like when the sentry is initially placed?
No, like there's something weird about this spot in the jungle where this dire observer is. There's 2 little mini pillars next to the middle one. There's something fucky with that vision where if you put observers there and then you put a sentry observer on the other team on top, you don't get true vision on that middle tier below because it's like absconded somehow.
I'm not sure.
That was the case. They might have patched it because I remember Jenkins made a video about it with that ward spot being like really, really dumb where you can put an observer under a sentry and you have to put like an observer on that tier to see it.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't.
It might have been patched.
I wasn't aware.
I'm not sure.
I don't play 5 that much anymore, so.
I don't play 5 at that level, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah. I mean, it might be. It might still be that way. It might be fixed. I'm not sure. If they placed it there, there's obviously got to be a reason. So. Could be what you're saying and the fact they just can't see it. It would make sense because they put a sentry literally on top of the pillar and it's still there.
So maybe that spot is still busted. You need to. That's a pro tip, Dreskel. That's plus 30 on me, buddy. Against
my will to playing the 5. I'll remember that.
I always forget that at the higher level of pubs, you don't need to farm roll queues.
Well, you do is if the average MMR of the game is not 7K, you still have rolls. Cell is just mega dead here, by the way.
He's creep status now. He's done. Okay. It is still Khan with a small net worth lead. Up to 2K now. It was looking great for CL until that weird chase into the Radiant jungle, and now they're playing catch-up again.
Yeah, I think they just want to keep Khan on their toes a bit. I mean, obviously the moves themselves aren't, like, perfect. They keep losing heroes here and there. But I think that if the Void gets to a stage in the game, because he finishes that Mjolnir, right? He gets 1 item on top of this, he becomes, like, the scariest hero on the map.
Yeah.
More or less.
Definitely true.
And TB still needs his BKB, and honestly, maybe even another item at this point. The burst damage on Khan is there, though. They just need to be able to, you know, have Pikachu get the Orchid on someone. Let's see if are there any saves yet? So it's Lens on Magical. They have Greaves, so the Darkseer can dispel the Orchid, but that's about it. So Orchid still kills 4 out of the 5 members of Cyber Legacy if they can get the combo going correctly. A Roar here onto the Witch Doctor. See you later.
Oh, okay. Another quick pick.
Yeah, he got the bounty rune, though. So, moral victory.
And Darkseer, what's he looking at here? A Crimson. Ooh, mid lane. They're going to find a Rubik. He's got a time walk. All right, Gilger. Also a Glimmer Cape.
Such a nice spell to have on Rubik. Because you're often, like, against heroes like Tiny, you're just so often a target, right? Like, he sees you, and he just, you know, his eyes turn red. It's like, oh, freebie. And then, you know, you have Time Walk, and his whole combo is wasted.
Cheshire Cat in a little deep up top. That's a toss back into the tower. And, hey, look, his buddies are here.
Yeah, no way that works. That was weird, because he was walking up like he knew they were coming, and his blink was off cooldown the whole time. And he, like, his Hawk had to have seen the hill, right? Oh, no, it doesn't see the left side of the hill. Okay, Hawk misplacement. We'll say that.
Looked like one of those.
So if you have your Hawk just on the camp, you can see both sides of the ramp and the tower anyway.
Orchid onto Void. This is a big kill. Yeah. Can they find it? Bada boom, bada bing. Pikachu.
Nice. Yeah, that's why he needs his one more item. He needs that BKB so that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Once he has it, that combo will no longer be possible unless he is stunned from 100% to 0.
Yep.
That's why timings are so important in Dota. I think people don't really... Like, they can... Intellectually, they can understand it, but they can't understand it in the game by feel, if that makes sense. Like, they don't instinctively know when a hero is strong. They can just see it after the fact. Or they can look at it from an observer perspective and be like, oh yeah, obviously this guy's strong.
Right.
But it's much, much different when you're in the game.
It's a bit like the stock market, like buy low, sell high. Like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
BKB from Pikachu, gonna press in. Sonic Wave only connects on one. Reeves there to mitigate some of it. Pretty good ultimate from Slayer, but they still lose the Darkseer. Now the Primal Roar, maybe one more casualty. It's a 2-0 in favor of Khan. Big Numb with an Avalanche, and they'll continue to retreat. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like everybody knows, well, yeah, I should fight around my timings when I'm at my power spike, but knowing when you are is very, very hard to identify in the actual moment.
Your power spike is when you want to sit in your own woods, Zyori, for the entire game, never leave for any reason, even if your throne's being attacked.
It is funny that, like, occasionally you'll come across those pub teammates that are just stupidly defensive. You know, they get a kill, and it's just always back to farming.
Oh, yeah. It's like...
oh.
Okay, here we go.
Tiny jumps in. He eats the Orchid, too. This is actually great. Chrono on 3. Dream trying to finish off Queen of Pain, but they need more damage. They get it, and now Roche very low. Can they snipe the last hit? Roshan standing on 40 HP. Oh. It's going to die to the Dire. Aegis picked up by Dream, and now they kill Naive. It is a complete disaster for Khan. I don't think that could have gone worse. They're going to get cleaned up. They concede the Aegis, and they concede Roche. Wow.
I don't, like, Roshan got dragged out of the pit, so he actually couldn't be attacked for, like, a couple of seconds there. Like, that was really strange. He was at 1 HP for so long, and then right as Roshan died, the Naive got tossed, so he wasn't able to actually pick up the Aegis. So nice little combo play there from Dream and Big Num. Good stuff. Nice little turnaround. That was like, what, a 4K swing? And Roche?
Something like that. Yeah, let's take a look at the graph. Looks like, yeah, almost exactly 4K. That was a really nice chrono, though. Dream has been on point this game. He's found this great balance of putting a lot of priority on farming, but still showing up to fights and using chrono pretty much every time it's available. And I think every chrono's looked pretty darn good. Now needs to be careful as the Orchid chases him down. Time walk. Up in 2, but, okay. Well, Dream.
You cursed him.
Sorry to compliment you there, buddy. That's
damn it, Zyori.
The end of the Aegis.
Get it together.
And, is he dead again? Big Num comes in, swap around, and Sonic Wave is more than enough.
Yeah, that's a pretty big misplay, honestly.
Well, that was the 9-second BKB from Quap. Silver lining.
You know, these types of mistakes still kind of happen in Tier 2 games, and you just kind of, you know, you accept it because, like, those types of deaths, if we were watching 2 Tier 1 teams, that would literally never happen. Like, a guy being by himself against a team with multiple blinks and insane catch with no BKB, holding an Aegis on his own with no team, that would just never happen.
So you're telling me Matumba Man wouldn't have died there? 100%.
I'm telling you, Matumba Man would not have even been there.
All right, that's the Draskell guarantee.
Like,
I see.
It's just one of those plays where you look at it and you're like, yeah, okay, you have Time Walk, but there's Blink Beastmaster, you can't juke into the trees, there's Hawk, there's a Queen, there's Howl for Vision. Like, there's no way that you're going to be able to use Time Walk defensively well enough to be able to live in that situation. It just won't work.
I call those the high-risk, zero-reward plays.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Like, best case scenario, you live. What's the, like, cool. You could also live just farming your jungle, man.
Like, here's a really good thing to go by. Like, rule of thumb when you're watching a game. If you go, wow, I probably would have done that, it's bad. Like, I probably would have made that play, so it's bad. Because I'm bad. That's how you have to say it, right?
Yeah, that's a fair way to frame it. There is a double damage up on this Darkseer right now. And how long until Chrono? It's up. And just a recipe away from the Void's BKB. So still pretty tight in terms of net worth right now. Let's see how Terrorblade's doing. He's got the BKB, the Manta, and it looks like Scotty will be the choice next.
Yeah, Scotty, staple item on TB. I thought he might go for Satanic, but he might feel he needs a bit more damage to Roar here. Free Witch Doctor.
On the Witch.
And a Courier.
And he might actually live. They have detection.
Oh, they...
Sonic Wave in the back line. Slayer does fall, as does the Darkseer, but now the buyback. The Chrono does secure the kill onto Excel, but doesn't get anything else.
That BKB was quite odd.
Yep, that was the 10-second charge for Naive.
He might have hit it during Chrono and forgot to hit S, because he like BKB'd as soon as the Chrono ended. That happens a lot, by the way. So if you don't know how it works, if you BKB and you get stunned immediately, it will queue up your BKB for after the stun ends. So if you don't hit S, you will BKB after the stun ends, no matter what, right? Like it will just go off. So you have to hit S.
So it's there is a little cast point on BKB. It's not actually instant.
Yeah, it's more about order queue, but it's one of those things that people don't know, and they'll be like, what the heck, why did I just BKB, right? Like, you hit it before the Chrono, and then you don't actually need to use it after the Chrono ends because no one hit you, but you forgot to hit S, so your BKB goes off regardless, and it's like, it's one of those things that feels bad.
That's one of those funky little Dota mechanics, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Cheshire Cat, walks right into it. That boar, he's going to cost you. That cast just bouncing back and forth, playing ping pong.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Witch Doctor superiority right there. That is real hard to deal with as a Beastmaster.
And Excel. Now look at that. He scouted the high ground. It's like he knew that the danger was there. I probably shouldn't walk up here. And just as he scouts it, oh, damn. I've already stepped too far forward. Now that's a play I would make, Draskell. I have made that very play. See you later. Where you know it's like, I don't know if I should do this. And it's like, I should have trusted my gut. Why didn't I listen to my own inner voice?
Yeah, I do that shit constantly too, don't worry. I'm like, I should not go for this one more wave. I'm going
It feels
for
like gambling against yourself, where you're like, now, I know I shouldn't, but what are the chances they're actually making the right play and still standing there?
Yeah.
I'll roll the dice. I like to gamble.
And you're wrong like a lot of the time.
Yep.
No, I mean, everyone does that. It's, it's a universal Dota thing.
Yeah, one thing...
If we all actually listened to, like, the logical side of us when we played the game, we'd all probably have much higher win rates.
One thing that Jenkins mentioned in a video I really like is that those moments when you're winning a game, but the other team has good high ground defense, and you just have to starve the map and resist the urge to run high ground. He's like, it feels bad for you when you're winning because you want to get impatient, but you got to remember the mental warfare that they're experiencing, and after a few minutes of that, there's just this the psychological phenomena of wanting that sound reward of farming gold and hearing that sound is like, it fucks with you. The longer you stay high ground not farming, the more you want to leave the base and do something.
Speaking of gaming.
Here we go. Cheshire Cat. Mental warfare continues. Swap from the Venge will save him, but now Excel, I think, likely to fall. BKB from Pikachu jumps in. Nice Sonic Wave, but the Chrono kind of awkwardly placed. Another amazing swap. Excel will go down. Big Num somehow able to live as he steps to the side. Naive with another questionable BKB. They are going to get the Witch Doctor, maybe chasing down the Darkseer. TP home. This is bold. Not going to make it.
Yeah, it's just, this is kind of what I was expecting to happen eventually. It's around 30 minutes. Every time a Chrono goes out, the core just gets swapped away. Like, Dream, he really wants to get a core kill in these Chronos, but he just can't. This is why at the draft I was like, okay, it's pretty even-ish. But if Cyber Legacy lose momentum, it's really hard for them to continue because their core hero, obviously it was open pick, so like first phase. You are just going to play into a lot of counters. And that's just how it is.
Oh, Queen of Pain dies solo to the Void.
It's a solo kill.
Okay.
I mean, he's losing his base. Doesn't like.
Yes, his teammates don't have buybacks, so there are very few options here. That's, I mean, more than the Void could have hoped for if he TP'd back. But Easy mid lane. Remember, that was a... Oh, that was a dieback for the Witch Doctor. So I thought it was the Darkseer. I guess he bought back a while ago.
Yeah.
But Witch Doctor's on cooldown.
This game is going to come down to if Cyber Legacy can find an opening where the Venge needs to be taken care of before Chrono comes out. Like, either that, or the Venge needs to be in the Chrono with another core. Those are like the two situations that can occur where Dream can kill the target that he wants to kill before the Chrono ends. Because as long as Excel is alive, he's been on point, like you mentioned, with swapping heroes away. And the TB isn't, like, even if his meta's down, he's still scary if you just let him hit you, right?
Yeah.
But if there's no Chrono on the Void, he's not scary at all. Like, no BKB, no Chrono, what's he going to do?
Yeah, right now, Terrorblade has something like 40 armor. That's... yeah, no kidding about that magic damage against the Void.
Yeah, you want like MKB Milner against TB. Same thing when you're
MKB
playing like
queued up.
Lifestealers and Juggernauts and stuff like that. You need to itemize for items that are not going to scale your physical damage, but more on-head effects.
Now,
because
do you like this Lincoln's on Void, though, Drascal? Because in some ways I feel like it's warranted, but in other ways I am really worried about their damage output now.
yeah, I don't like it at all, actually. I mean, I get it. He doesn't want to get roared in his Chrono. Like, I can make the logical connection to why he wants the item, but it's not the item that's going to win him the game. It's just it's gonna be the item that lets him feel more comfortable. That's basically what he's opted for here. It's comfort over victory. And I mean, again, I've done the same thing. I bought an item where I'm like, we kind of need damage, but if I get roared, it's really bad. And you know, you're making that choice in your head to say, I'm going to make it easier for me to play the fight by having a Lincoln's, but we might not have enough gas in a tank to actually kill what we need to kill.
This can be risky. It feels like playing to lose sometimes, where you see like Morph. It happens to Morphling sometimes. You see a Morphling with like Manta, Lincoln's, BKB, and it's like, all right, eventually you're going to have to do damage, buddy.
Here we go.
Witch Doctor in the front line. Slayer going down quick. He does survive the initial onslaught. BKBs get popped. Naive and Dream, blow for blow. Dream not winning that battle outright. And there's the Chrono. Does connect on one. It actually misses Cheshire Cat. That is not the Chrono they wanted. Now Excel and Pikachu jump forward. They get Slayer. They get the Darkseer. 2-0.
I like how you just abandoned it. That was good. Isn't it just Petishara?
Petishara. That's it. Yeah, Petishara. Buyback on Petishara. The Darkseer. Gilger.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see how bad it feels to be Dream in this game, right? Like,
yeah.
Excel was standing so far away from the engagement there, and you can't solo Chrono him, right? You just can't.
Uh-oh, Tiny in the front line. Sonic Wave, a little extra disabled. They do drop the Hex onto Venge. Oh, a
nice
double
back.
cliff. Pedushara, very nice. But now the Thunder comes out. Dream trying to time walk back. No BKB. Limited options. Naive. He surged forward. Those Rubik steals. Wow, that's great. He stole Surge. That is a huge utility for this con lineup.
Yeah, Surge is just incredible. Goes over movement speed cap too, which is really crazy. You just move so quickly. They're smoked up here. No Darkseer, no Chrono. I mean, this is kind of like a Hail Mary. They're even late to the Roche.
Roche was already low. Yeah, and Magical still goes in. Looks like he is going to get that pick onto Cheshire Cat. Works out pretty well. Pretty high risk there. But Aegis now in the hands of the TB, and he's also got a Basher. Not an item you see on TB that much, but pretty cool in this game for some additional lockdown.
Yeah, Abyssal's great. I think a lot of people undervalue that item on ranged heroes. Because, you know, even though you're ranged, it doesn't necessarily mean you're scared of being in melee. Like, what's Naive scared of this game at this point? Not really a whole lot. Maybe if he gets chronoed, his entire team, like, disconnects, he might die. But besides that, he's feeling pretty good.
I'd say so.
So
you got the Scotty,
yeah.
the BKB. You can survive a chrono for sure. You're not afraid of the magical damage anymore. You know, even with the decrep, they can't burst you that fast. Witch Doctor's ult tickles at this point. Physical damage.
Yeah, so there's this weird Faceless Void dynamic where if you have another core on your team that is strong enough to force out spells, then you can scale well into the late game because you know that there's always going to be like a decent chrono opportunity, right? So in this game, no one else on his team is strong enough to force anyone on Khan to do anything. right? Like if Excel is not forced to use his swap before Chrono comes out, or if BKBs aren't forced out correctly, then it becomes significantly harder for Dream to do his job, which is Chrono some cores and kill them. Yeah. So in a normal game, if you have more backline reach, you can just kill the Venge, and then the Chrono comes out and it feels good. Or if the Pugna was like scarier, and he was just like frontlining for the team or whatever, and forcing out like a swap because he has a Hex now, then that opens up Chrono opportunities. But the last couple of fights, before that item comes out specifically on Magical, there's just not really a whole lot that's making Khan scared besides Bubble. There needs to be more than one threat, I guess, is a short way of saying what I said in a very long roundabout way.
No, definitely. Like, now it's defaulted back to this pressure on Dream of like, all right, buddy, we're going to need you to catch the perfect Chrono for us to have a chance in this team fight. And
just Chrono all 5 of them.
Obviously, Khan know that, and when that's the only big threat they have to deal with, they just Delta split at the beginning of every fight. So Void has no good option. I feel like you see this with Magnus's sometimes, where it's like, all right, Magnus, we need you to start the fight with RP and also catch 3 heroes, or else we're not going to win. It's like, well,
yeah.
Then I guess we lost, guys, because Magnus really wants to follow up or like counter-initiate with the RP. Scare them so they clump up.
Yeah, Void is the same in a lot of cases. The benefit of Mag is that even if you can't get good RPs, Empower is still just broken.
That's
so
true.
You have that.
Yeah, fair enough. Although Void is now very close to the MKB. So speaking of power spikes.
Yeah, he's going to all in it. He won't have buyback for this, but I think it has to happen this way. He needs to be scary right now. He can't wait.
Bottom tier 2, the last outer tower. Kong gonna be able to finish that one off. Maintain some map control here. Butterfly, man, this TB's farming so fast. I feel like he just got the Abyssal and he's already halfway to Butterfly. And they'll just keep this siege going. Primal Roar, Cheshire Cat jumps in. Pugna, Magical needs to live, and he will, but just barely. Now Void flies through. Chrono on 3, catches the Venge. This is pretty darn good. Gets Pikachu, follow up onto Excel, and now the real team fight breaks out. Buyback, though. Pikachu back in it. Cheshire Cat won't be able to survive. They need some way to deal with Naive. He does still have Aegis, though. He's going to go down. BKB at the ready. This is pretty good for CL. Now the Hex. Naive, no chance to survive. Beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, nice little engage there. Like, Pikachu bought out right away, but it felt a bit ambitious, right? Like, how's he going to get back to that fight?
There's just no access point. I mean, you got...
Yeah, and there's nothing else really on the map, like, that he's going to get anyway. Like, there's no outer towers or anything like that. MKB coming in big, lots of damage. The Hex also coming in big there as well from Magical.
For a moment, I kind of thought Khan might be able to take that fight, but then the Terrorblade just dropped. Do you think he should have used the BKB before Aegis in that situation? I know normally you don't want to do that, but he ended up not using the BKB at all that fight.
I don't know if it would have mattered, honestly. Like, the Queen and the Venge were just dead first, right? Like, they were the first 2 to go, and when that happens, the fight's already kind of, like, lost at that point. It's the one place on the map where Cyber Legacy can have sort of a positional advantage, because Beastmaster Vision's not really going to help you that much in those types of situations. And not only that, but the way they engage, like, Cheshire Cat just YOLO blinks past the tier 3.
Yeah.
Like, that, you're forcing your team into a choke point. That's where Void wants to fight you. He wants to fight you in a choke point because his Chrono is going to be much easier to land.
It definitely seemed like the Venge panicked a little bit and ended up too far in. I mean, she was like at the tier 3 when she got caught in the Chrono.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I mean, right? Like, you're forcing your team to make that choice. Like, do we just let him die?
Pikachu, I don't know if he's going to find this solo kill into Magical. Okay, with the dust from Gilgar, they certainly will. Holding the outpost. 40 minutes about to roll over. We'll go even at least. Dire are holding the bottom outpost.
Yeah, I think it was just not the kind of way you want to start a fight for Khan if you're pushing up a hill like that. Like, you're strong, but you're not that strong. You can't just blink over the hill, roar a guy behind the tier 3, and hope that your team is going to follow you and not just, you know, lose heroes in the process. You can't do that against Void.
Yep. The punishment is real. And Terrorblade actually changes his mind, does not go for the Butterfly. Instead, wants the Daedalus after Abyssal. Big damage.
Okay.
And Void's going to buy a cool, I guess, Satanic queued up next. Some more survivability.
Yeah, it's good in case he does get disabled. The status resist is great. He hits very fast and very hard now, so he'll be able to just recover all of that HP very, very quickly. It's only going to take him like 2 or 3 hits max to full heal.
Yeah.
Like Satanic active is just nuts. It's probably too good, to be honest.
And he's also got Illusion Escape, which is also fantastic on the Void.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm wondering what other items... They have Minotaur Horn and that's it. So they're actually missing 2 tier 4 items currently. It'd be really nice to get their hands on that. Maybe he can get himself a leveler, perhaps? I know that Khan just got one. So their TB's got a leveler now.
Khan are also missing an item still, the Timeless Relic on Quap. And they have a Prince's Knife currently not being used. And they're the 2 big items, Satanic and Daedalus, both picked up now as we see a smoke from Khan. I'm a little surprised nobody's using the Prince's Knife. I usually think of that as a pretty darn good tier 4 item.
I think the only person who would be able to use it is Queen, and he's opting for the relic instead, like you said. So
isn't it still better on Venge than the Pupil's Gift, though? I mean, yeah, she likes.
Yeah, but the Venge is
stats,
never gonna. She's never gonna be in a position to hit anyone. Is the main thing. Like if she's playing the fight correctly, she will be behind everyone forever. Like until Chrono comes out, and then she's gonna swap, and then she's gonna die in the Chrono probably.
Yeah. It still only takes 1 auto attack, though. If you could swap and then hex the person that's killing your buddy, it's like the double save. They can't chase you down.
But how many times are you swapping if it's not into a Chrono?
Well, not that many, but get it.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's low likelihood that it would be useful.
Yeah, I think you make a good point.
Because imagine a situation if they slow siege, like Khan, and they just have the TB with the Aegis like before, and he's just meted hitting the tower, and the Venge is just sitting behind him. How are they going to go on that? That's what should happen, right? Like, it shouldn't be your Beastmaster yeeting into the base. It should just be the TB with an Aegis hitting the tower and saying, you have to go on us, because it's much harder for Cyber Legacy to go on you when you have that, like, concave around the tier 3 as opposed to just all clumping on the ramp.
And I guess, like, the scenario I'm painting out, she already has Magic Missile to do that. Like, if you swap not in Chrono, you can still just stun somebody. It doesn't need to be a right-click X, so it's kind of redundant. All right, you win this one, Draskell. You've won the battle, but I'm coming for the war.
That's fine. I'm always down to talk about the... Hypotheticals and stuff are really fun in this game because you have to... You know, sometimes it forces you to think in ways you wouldn't normally think, which I think is a good thing.
Ooh, Gilger's got Aghanims queued up on Rubik. That's always a good one. Especially when you've got Blink, Aether Lens already. Like, you can spell steal from downtown and then some.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good spells to get this game, too. Cask, Maledict, Surge. You know, any tiny spell is always nice if you use it correctly. You can obviously get Chrono if you're super fast.
The Ag's Time Walk, that's an upgrade, all right. But
do you really want to time walk into them? I would be so scared to do that.
No, I'm just thinking of the style points if he pulls it off, really. High risk,
well, I guess
right.
the time lock bash lasts longer, right? Because of his passive? I've never actually done it, so I don't know.
The Arcane Supremacy. Yeah, it should.
That would be crazy. I've never seen the interaction in a game, but it would be funny.
Same.
So Roche is up. Obviously tricky for both teams here. It's going to be all about positioning, who gets the better fight. Cyber Legacy kind of want to draw Khan in and then be able to fight. They don't want to just like walk in and have Excel like where he's standing right now is like the place he does not want to be. He doesn't want to be between the entirety of Cyber Legacy and his team. He wants to be behind his own team.
Okay.
And he's going to die first here, which is real bad. He has buyout. He's going to have to use it here.
Immediately. But he breaks
He did break the smoke, which is good. Yeah, he did break the smoke, which is nice.
Those plays are always hard to read, or it's like, yeah, that was your saving hero, but you might have just caught or prevented your team from getting caught. So not good, but there is a silver lining for sure. You see both teams just so timid.
I think see, this is the thing, right? This is the same kind of idea that I was talking about bottom, where they just do the siege with the TB and have everyone standing behind them. This is so hard for Cyber Legacy to walk into. Someone has to go in and basically sacrifice themselves to get spells off.
Well, Big Num, maybe a good candidate for it. Roche is falling pretty quickly. 2,000 HP left. Void ready to jump in, but caught by the Rubik. No Chrono yet. He's hexed up. Sonic Wave comes down. Dream in trouble. Still sustaining for now. The Chrono finally flies. Naive gets swapped out. Excel, the sacrificial lamb, does it again. Cheshire Cat deep in the back line. He BKBs. That's just a Minotaur Horn. But now the reflection, Pikachu on the high ground, the Terrablade's still alive, and CL are running out of resources. They picked up the Venge and the Beastmaster kill. BM will buy back. They finally get Tiny. TB, can he sustain? Void jumps back in now. He's trying to finish off Darkseer in the back line. It's a dead Naive. Somehow Dream's still alive as Pikachu falls. Buyback's coming on both sides of the coin, but this is absolutely the Dyer's fight. Gilger, what are we doing here? Now on the other side, Roche still standing. 2,000 HP, Cheshire Cat, that's a dieback. He ran in a little too aggressive there. Ambitious Eyes is now Roche will fall to the wrath of Dream. He picks up the Refresher Shard, Aegis, and Shees. Rubik jumps into the pit, trying to snag some spoils, but this might cost him. Gem on the deck, Gilger picks it up, no way!
He's not getting out, there's no way.
Blink up in 2, never mind, Dream.
Oh, no, I was going to say, no way he gets out of here.
No way indeed. They catch him, the gem hits the deck, and Cyber Legacy break it wide open. Now let's take a look at the recap. No help. God damn it.
Yeah, the fight was way too long. When the fights go that long, the recap doesn't do anything
so
for you.
4 buybacks on the Radiant, and Pugna was the only one that bought back on the Dire. So a couple of those deaths were diebacks. The Venge, the Quap, no, not the Quap, I'm sorry. The Venge and the Beastmaster were both diebacks on Khan. So that was an insane swing. The XP went from 10k to now 20k in favor of Cyber Legacy.
Yeah, the Satanic coming in huge there. If he didn't have that item, Dream was dead, or it's like absolutely dead. He got hexed. He was at like, what, 15, 20% HP, gets the Time Walk off, heals a little bit, pops Satanic, throws out the Chrono. In that specific case, it didn't even really matter that the TB got swapped because he just needed to full heal. And once that happened, there were already heroes dead on Khan, and they were being forced into buyback, and their tier 2 top is alive, but it still takes time for them to get back into the fights. And obviously, Excel was the first real death there. It was a dieback on him because he obviously broke the smoke beforehand.
Do you think Khan should have just stayed more committed to the pit with the TB stuck inside the strat that you were talking about, the kind of 4+1? Because it seemed like they really overcommitted to take a fight where they were on the low ground, and CL had a great positioning advantage just holding that high ground spot.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely did not want to chase up the hill. It seems like a theme in this game where they maybe feel like they're a little bit stronger than they are relative to the stage in the game now, because like this Void is higher net worth than the TB. Like Dream is massive. He's basically got a full inventory, Refresher Shard, and a Lincoln's in his backpack.
Yeah.
So this guy, he doesn't get any bigger than this. Like this
Moon
is
Shard
it.
is
level
it.
30.
I mean, he's pretty slotted.
If you want to be like super fancy, you can get the Aghanims and stuff, but you know, he has everything he needs to play the game at this point.
Yeah, it is. So what happened to the Ags first? It seemed like that was the build on Void for a while, and now we're seeing it a bit less. I'm actually, I guess, maybe surprised that Dream skipped it altogether.
It kind of depends on the game. So in my personal experience with the hero, because I've played quite a bit of Faceless Void, it's an item where you can buy it if you have such good chrono synergy that you never really need to be the sole like killer on your team.
Okay.
Right? So you buy it, it's very annoying because if the enemy team doesn't have burst, they can't obviously kill you fast enough, and then you can just keep time locking them and you can chase forever, and it feels really good. And you obviously can farm with it too. But if you need to be doing damage in chrono, it's not the best item for that. Like there are other items that just let you burst the important heroes inside of it.
That makes a lot of sense. And as we've talked about, a lot of pressure on the Void to get those chronos this game. He does have a double damage, by the way. Still plenty of time on the Aegis, of course. About 2 minutes. Top lane of Barracks, soon to be turned to Rumble.
This is a siege, Zyori. This is how Khan should have sieged bottom when they had their Aegis.
Cheshire Cat, he's going deep. He's still got the Minotaur Harn. They've got detection, though, bud. And he's just going to drop the Chrono. Catches the Venge, too. No save there.
Got it.
Rubik will steal it, but can they do anything with it? Trying to throw some snowballs in. Good ult from Pikachu. They still haven't found any kills, though. Parallel walls come out. Magical sustaining. The Quap committing so much for that. And the GG will be called. Of course, Naive also died in the fray of that fight. A tough final fight. But CL take it. 39-30, 49 minutes. Dreams Faceless Void